Yes, indeed. It's Wise Son coming to you live and direct on February 18th, 19. Yeah, I'll be alright. I'm like 100 years behind. 2018 coming through. Hope everybody's had a lovely, beautiful day. And hopefully we maintain that energy into tomorrow and the next. We keep it going. Basically, I just straight up just like bored right now. I'm on vacation and all that, so I need some time to kill and all that. So basically, we're gonna jump off and talk about something that is a big part of my life. February 1992, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and for people that don't know, Crohn's disease is an inflammation of your small intestine. And basically, the inflammation causes some narrowness in your intestine, which prevents certain foods and certain things to pass through your intestine because of the narrowness of the certain part of your intestine, and therefore causing severe pain, and you are unable to digest foods and stuff like that. Basically, I just wanted to, bestow some people with some information that, who are not too familiar with this disease. We finally got our commercial, you know what I'm saying? There's been a big commercial going on, and I'm very happy for that because, when I first got diagnosed with it when I was 16 years old, a lot of people thought, you could just take off some Pepto-Bismol down your throat, and things would just go away like that. But a lot of people are definitely on the rise of the understanding of Crohn's disease, and I'm very happy for that. I live out near the Boston area in Massachusetts, and Mass General Hospital has these every, I think it's like the second Wednesday of every month, they have a Crohn's, colitis, IBS, other conditions that are related to Crohn's, diverticulitis, stuff like that. They have group meetings where everybody can come together and bestow they knowledge on their conditions and stuff like that, and help people bounce ideas off people. I've been to a couple myself, and I found it very beneficial, not just for me, but also beneficial for people that were struggling with this condition because of their lack of knowledge of the disease. So, I definitely, helped out fathers that had, little children, 5, 6 years old with the condition, and they really didn't know what to do. And, when you, well, for me anyway, when you get to a point where, you pretty much, you, for the most part, you have your condition in check, and you're doing good with yourself, you pretty much know how to handle yourself. My doctor told me, for every Crohn's patient, you are you are your own doctor, because every Crohn's patient is different. Everybody has a different situation. Not everybody's the same. So I mean, for me to help other people is just very, it's definitely, it helps me out a lot because it puts that warm feeling in my heart, knowing that I touch somebody and hopefully help them with their struggles and all that stuff, you know what I mean? But basically, I mean, basically the reason why I wanted to put this out here is because just to help people understand more about Crohn's disease. Basically, people who have Crohn's disease, they have to have a low fiber diet, which consists of no seed, food with no seeds, no roughage. Is it roughage? Like seeds, skins, like hot dogs, like fruits and things with seeds in them. Seeds get really stuck up in your intestine like that when they're not too good to go. Skins on like on like I said, a hot dog or you know any type of food like that contains that. That's a big no-no for us right there. Pickles, you know what I'm saying? A lot of fruits and vegetables that help you grow. But the only fruit that really that on my diet I can maintain down my throat is basically refined lettuce. And that's the only fruit. Is that a fruit? Is that shit a fruit? Whatever it is. Anyway, but it's a low fiber diet and basically obviously taking your medication. There's a variety of medications that Crohn's patients take. Me myself, I've been on 6-MP, which is also known as pyranethol, and I've been bouncing that up and down my digestive system for over 20 years, probably close to 24, 25 years now, and it's been very effective. I've tried other medications that I did not like due to the side effects. I mean, every medication you're going to take is going to have a side effect, but I can deal with the side effects that the pyranethol does for me. And there's a lot of other medications out there that hook you up and all that, but you do have to watch the side effects. And unfortunately, there are some medications out there that you can only get through an infusion in a hospital, or you would have to put a needle in your arm or have someone else put a needle in your arm and inject that into your bloodstream. And I've been hospitalized hundreds of times due to my Crohn's disease, so I'm not a big fan of needles because when they throw the IV down on you, it's horrible. I mean, it's not that bad, but I mean, yeah, it's just not a comfortable feeling. So needles is not down with me. And that's one of the reasons why I like the pyranethol, because it's in pill form, and you don't have to worry about injecting yourself with your medications and stuff like that. But basically, one thing that a lot of people don't really talk about, well, from what I've seen anyway, is the fact that stress plays a huge part in Crohn's. And I mean, I've told the people in my cipher all the time, you know what I mean, that stress plays a big part in causing attacks for Crohn's. And just some people just don't get it. You know what I mean? You'll tell them that, and then they'll be like, okay, well, I can't stand my job and this and that, and why are you treating me like this and that? They just don't get it that my tolerance for stress is just it's mad. It's just it has to be very low for me because I'm not gonna allow stress to bring on an attack. You know what I mean? I just can't go out like that. And a lot of people just, for whatever reason, just fail to realize that, and they want to, just maintain their agenda and not really care about your feelings. You know what I mean? So stress is a huge part. I mean, not only with the diet and all that, but I mean, I just found out, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago when I was hospitalized. I found out after I was hospitalized. I'm like, I came to my doctor while I was up in there with the EG tube up my nose and all that. And I was like, doc, I'm doing everything right, man. I'm taking my meds, I'm eating the right foods. I'm on my low fiber. And here I am. It's very frustrating for me. And he's the one that, first told me that, are you under a lot of duress? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, well, that's the reason why you're up in here today. And, once I found that out, you know, that's when I started keeping track of my happiness and realized that, I have to be in a stress-free zone. You know what I mean? And then that's why I put my happiness on a pedestal, because it's very important. But I mean, people that don't even have a condition like myself, they should put their happiness on a pedestal as well, because, you know, I think everybody should just live their life like that. Everybody's talking about getting money, this and that, but I mean, I put happiness before anything. You know what I mean? Happiness and good health. You know what I mean? Because I think if you got those two right there, in my eyes, you're definitely, doing the right thing. But basically, I mean, one of the good things about having Crohn's is the fact that I had to develop discipline. And what I mean by that is basically, when I can't eat because I have symptoms with my Crohn's, whether it be diarrhea, nausea, abdominal pain, or whatever it is, I have to take precautions a lot. If I feel something ain't right, if I feel that my stomach isn't tender, or if I feel it is tender, this and that, I will take precaution, and I will have to use my discipline and not eat. I'll drink, I'll just stay on a liquid diet until I feel that I'm ready to eat again. And when you are very sick, you have to have that discipline. There's been plenty of times where I've been out and about, whether I be with family or you know, my lady or whatever, and I can't eat at all. And people get, they feel bad and all that, and I appreciate that, but I let them know at the same time, don't feel bad for me. I've been doing this for over 20 years, you know what I mean? And I have that discipline. You can eat right in front of me when I ain't eating like 3, 4 days or whatever it is. And I'm not mad, you know what I mean? Because I have that discipline. I have to have that discipline. If I don't have that discipline, then therefore, I'm headed back to the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center down in Brookline on 330 Brookline Avenue. And, I ain't trying to go up in there. You know what I'm saying? Go up in there and, I ain't even trying to tell you how they treat, Crohn's patients up in there, or the procedures, how they handle their Crohn's patients, how they check them out and stuff like that. It can be a very horrible scene. I did have surgery one time back in May of 2001. It was a removal of my small bowel. And when you do have surgery, or when I had surgery 17 years ago, basically they was like, you got a 50-50 chance of getting worse or getting better. And that's like pretty much, it's very scary to deal with. I mean, I was 25, 26 years old at the time. And yeah, that's a very scary thing to deal with, especially being a young man. But thankfully, I had, my family backing me up, this and that. So, it worked out good. But, after you have that procedure, you just have to wait and see how things turn out. And hopefully, if things turn out good for you, then, you definitely, hopefully, will live a better life. Some people I've heard have had surgeries, multiple surgeries, and they've turned out worse, and that's very unfortunate for them. But it's definitely rolling the dice, being you know taking a gamble with it. But I mean, those are the things that you face when you are in that type of situation. So I mean, like I say, stress is definitely one of the biggest things. I mean, taking your medications. I mean, don't get cute. If your Crohn's has been in remission for years, and you've been taking your meds, don't get cocky with it and be like, wow, I've been doing real good. I don't really need to take these meds anymore because I made that mistake, and I ended up pretty much back in the hospital after not taking my meds for like 6 months. Because I was trying to be cute. I figured I didn't need it, and that was a very big mistake I made. But the most important thing is that I have learned from all the mistakes that I've made with my Crohn's disease, and that's why I'm able to reach out and try to help as many people and try to educate as many people as possible on this disease, because it is something that never goes away. And I believe it is hereditary. It runs on both sides of my family, my mother and father's side. Some family members had, colitis, which is a little bit lesser than Crohn's. It's not as vicious as Crohn's disease, but it's definitely still up there. It might not be as severe as Crohn's, but it's definitely up there. IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. I've had that in my family as well. So, but I've also had a lot of family members on both sides of my family that both had Crohn's disease. So, it definitely is hereditary, and you really have to know. You really have to get on it, and get on the diet, know exactly what you need to eat. And like I said earlier, every patient is different, so you really need to know what does affect you the wrong way, what foods affect you the wrong way, and those are the type of foods you need to stay away from. For me, I hate to say it, man, but pickles and burritos and motherfucking Spanish rice, man. Oh man, I love them foods, man, but I can't touch them though. It's terrible. You know what I mean? I hate that, but I can't touch them. I can't front. I eat pickles on the low. I can't front on all y'all. Like all y'all, ain't nobody listening. What am I talking about? But yeah, man, I cheat. I cheat. You know what I'm saying? I cheat. I can't lie, man. I feel that you earn the right to cheat if you do the right thing. I think it's the same thing with diabetics and other people that have you know uh diets like myself, restricted diets like myself. Well, I can't really say that because diabetics and Crohn's disease patients, that's probably two different things. I shouldn't even be comparing that. But as far as Crohn's is, for my condition anyway, I feel that I can afford to cheat when I do well and I'm happy and I'm taking my medicines. Excuse me. I can afford to cheat. And it definitely pays off because I haven't been hospitalized since last March, which next month probably this month will be my year anniversary since my last serious attack. And basically, if you do have an attack, you really have to know how to handle it. I mean, if you've been hospitalized enough, then you will know how to handle an attack. You know what I mean? You just do exactly how they do you in the hospital. You do the same thing when you're at home. If you can't handle it, or if you can't, if you don't have the discipline to not eat, you know what I'm saying, then I'd say go to the hospital. But once you develop that discipline, then you can get better in your home. And fortunately for me, I've been blessed to be able to do that more times than to be hospitalized, because I know enough about my disease where I know exactly what to do, what baby steps to take. I know when I can eat, I know when I can't eat, when I keep it to a liquid diet or a brat diet, or whatever it is that may be. And like I said earlier, taking precaution is something that I do a lot. If I feel something coming on, I mean, it doesn't have to be a flare up. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be a serious, big time abdominal pain or anything like that. If I feel my stomach rumbling and I know that food is just disagreeing with me and it's really struggling to get through my intestines, I know that I gotta fall back, and a lot of times I won't eat and I'll just, sip with some liquids. And, when I feel that, if I can take the next step, then I'll take a step and, I'll jump to a Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm just playing with y'all. You can't eat no Big Macs, man. But, for real though, I'll jump to like, some toast, you know what I'm saying? Some apple juice, you know what I'm saying? Some Italian ice, because ice is nice and all that fun stuff. And, get some broth action jumping off. Ain't no noodles or chicken in the broth. It's just straight up broth, but that's anybody who has Crohn's disease knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, you have to play it that way. And, one thing when you get to the point where, you are very comfortable where you are with your condition, I think it's very important to reach out and try to inform people as much as possible, like I did with those meetings that were held up at Mass General Hospital in Boston. They have them every second Wednesday. Yeah, every second Wednesday of the month they have the meetings there, and I used to attend them a lot. Basically because I was single and I was looking for a girlfriend, so I wanted to help people and had the people help me and try to hook up with a Fifi, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, I was looking for a date and all that. I was a little, lonely and all that, but at the same time, I was like, if I get a 2-for-1 on here, I'll grab a deuce for a one, so I hit that. But at the end of the day, I was still doing something, right? I was trying to help myself, but I was also trying to help other people at the same time. But I mean, there are a lot of good things that come with having Crohn's disease. A lot of people say, well, what's so fun about having abdominal pain and getting sick all the time and all that? Well, like I said, the discipline thing, I never had discipline. I never developed discipline in my life until, I had this disease where I was forced to have discipline. If not, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be laid up in a hospital bed somewhere, you know, just in serious pain. But I mean, that's one of the things that have one of the blessings that came through with having this disease is developing the discipline where if I can't eat, I won't eat, no matter what. I mean, I've been in the bed and seen too many Burger King commercials and just started drooling at the mouth piece. And I wanted my sister, to run the BK real quick and give me a couple, double whoppers with cheese, and all that. But you eventually grow out of that real quick. And another thing one thing that is good though is the marijuana. Marijuana is a beautiful thing for Crohn's patients. People who have Crohn's disease in Massachusetts automatically qualify to get their marijuana license, so they can go to the dispensaries because marijuana helps. It gives you an appetite. It helps with your nausea. And that is something that a lot of Crohn's patients really need. I was actually taking dronabinol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it don't even matter. But yeah, dronabinol is a pill form which contains synthetic THC. And it doesn't get you high like weed, but it does, help cure all the symptoms that marijuana does. It doesn't give you that brain high. That's the only thing it doesn't do. It does for some people. Everybody's different, but it didn't really do that for me because I've been smoking weed since I was 14 and I'm 41 now. You just reverse the 14 and that's my age right there. So 27 years. That's how it worked out for me. But I mean, I always love helping people out and just trying to, spread the word on this condition. And, hopefully, more people who do get this disease in their life, there's a lot more information out there for them than it was for me when I was diagnosed at 16. All I had was my doctor telling me, educating me on my disease. He was the only one. There was no commercials. There weren't no support groups. There was none of that back then. So it's real good now that, you know, people nowadays who get it, especially kids, because you hate to see kids with a condition like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to so they have that now, you know, to help the parents out. Because when I went to a lot of those support groups at Mass General, you know what I mean? There was a lot of frustrated parents that were just like, man, I don't know what to do. You know, we do try to do everything right, and my kid is still sick. You know, and one of the things that that they're having a problem with, and some people don't realize, is, you know, you can take your medication, you can be stress free, you can stay on your low fiber diet and do all that good, yes, but you know, Crohn's has a mind of its own. You know, like I said, you can do all the right things and be on top of your dean and do all that good stuff, and yet Crohn's can still come back and bite you in the ass. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's one thing, you know, you have to understand. You know, I remember being frustrated going back to the hospital telling my doctor, man, I'm doing everything right, man, and I'm still coming back here. And that's when he had to bestow that on me, because that's just how Crohn's is. You know, Crohn's could be in remission for had it in remission for 5, 6 years. And I thought I was straight jacket, you know what I mean? But, you know, it definitely came back, you know what I'm saying? And it can definitely be frustrating. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if you go to those support groups when you're down and out, I mean, this is with anything in life, man. If you see other people that, you know, have it worse off than you, it does make you feel better about your situation. And some people, their situations are so bad that it makes you say, what am I even being? Why am I even feeling sorry for myself? You know what I mean? Like, this poor guy has two beautiful babies that ain't even 5 years old, and they both have Crohn's disease, and you know, the pain and suffering that they have to go through is just it's you know, it makes you want to shed a tear straight up, because no regular person with a good heart want to see any child suffer, no matter what it is, you know. And I mean, people like myself who have been through all types of suffering and pain over the years, being hospitalized over 100 times. You know, the last thing we want to see is, you know, a child go through what we go through. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put on my, you know, my specs real quick. Somebody calling in right here. I think this is somebody for. Yeah, that's his family right there. We're gonna shut that down. But yeah, you know, basically, you know, if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop down a question real quick. I'll be more than happy to answer your question for you. And anybody that does have Crohn's disease, I do wish you the best. You know what I mean? And get as much information on it as you can. And peace and love. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down.